Have you ever sat in a meeting, pitched a well-researched, brilliant idea, and it was met with just polite nods, but ultimately silence? But then 10 minutes later, someone else, usually someone louder and honestly probably less competent than you, says the exact same thing, and then suddenly the whole room thinks, wow, that's the best idea of the year. If that has happened to you, it is infuriating. But today I'm going to tell you exactly why it happens, and more importantly, how to make sure it never happens to you again. Welcome to my channel. I'm Lisa Hugo. I work with executives, founders, and talented professionals, helping them communicate with influence, authority, and impact, helping them to use their voice to drive their careers, their brands, and their businesses forward. Today, we're talking about the silent expert trap. This happens when you spend years mastering your craft, but when it's time to lead the room, you just blend into the background. And it essentially boils down to 3 massive communication mistakes. So let's dive into number 1. Most people assume that career progression is a straight line. They think if I get better at my job, I'll get promoted, I'll get more funding, I'll get more respect. They get caught in the silent expert trap, spending years mastering their craft, thinking that their hard work will speak for itself, but when it's time to step up, they just blend into the background and they watch less competent people get those promotions. At junior levels, that's absolutely true. Competence is pretty much the only thing that matters. But there is a hidden ceiling that nobody warns you about. When you reach the senior executive level, your technical skills stop mattering like they used to, because everybody at that level is smart. Everybody knows the data. The spreadsheet isn't going to save you anymore. To break past that plateau, a completely different skill set becomes the currency of success. And that skill is influence. It's your ability to articulate complex ideas simply. It's your ability to gain buy-in from highly skeptical stakeholders. I've worked with countless professionals whose technical expertise was off the charts, but their careers stalled. And why? Because their communication hadn't evolved at the same pace as their responsibilities. The higher you rise in your career, the less it matters what you know. It is entirely about how effectively you can communicate what you know. To be truly influential, you need to work on 3 core elements. Number 1 is your presence, how you speak, your voice, your delivery, your body language. And do they actually match the high level of your expertise? Number 2 is your message structure. You have to stop winging it. You need proven communication frameworks, so you never feel lost for words again. You need to use stories to become relatable, memorable, and clear. And then number 3 is buy-in. People can't just nod politely at your presentation and do nothing. You need them to believe what you believe and be moved to take an action. If you have great presence but no structure, you're just entertaining. If you have structure but no presence, you're boring. You need all 3 to win the room. Okay, let's talk about how to actually get that buy-in that we've just mentioned. I remember a brilliant executive who came to me completely deflated. She had just presented to her board for a massive project approval. She worked for weeks on it. Her data was flawless, but they said no. And she said, Lisa, I had the facts, the numbers perfectly supported my plan. Why couldn't they see it? So I said, when you spoke to the board, did you make an emotional connection and help them to see the transformation that your plan would provide? Or did you just deliver facts? Senior leaders do not just want facts. If you only deliver data, where's the point? They could just as easily read that in a document. Now, I see brilliant leaders ruin their chances every single day because they communicate at the bottom of what I call the Transformational Framework Pyramid. At the base of this pyramid is your informational foundation. Of course, your information is important. It's necessary, but it's not persuasive on its own. You have to move up to the second tier, emotional resonance. You have to translate that data into feelings. Why does this matter to the people in the room? What are the board's fears, goals, or frustrations? And how does this data affect them? And then finally, at the peak of the pyramid, is the transformational outcome. Senior leaders by results. When you present an idea, you have to paint a vivid picture of that desired change. How is their world going to look after this strategy is implemented? When you anchor your facts in emotion and point them toward a transformation, then you become an undeniable leader. Now let's talk about the situation that terrifies almost everyone, and that is the pressure test. You're sitting in a high-stakes meeting, minding your own business, and then suddenly the CEO turns to you and says, "What are your thoughts on this?" Oh my gosh. All eyes are snapping to you. Your stomach completely drops. Your mind goes blank. You scramble to string a sentence together and you end up rambling for 2 minutes without actually making a solid point. And then later that night, while you're driving home, the perfect response pops into your head. Thinking on your feet is terrifying, but it is also where leadership reputations are instantly made or broken. If you can take a breath, calmly pause, structure your thoughts in real time, and then deliver a crisp, authoritative answer, you instantly become the most respected person in that room. You don't need to be the loudest person, and you don't need to be an extrovert. You just need to know how to structure your thoughts with certainty and clarity when the spotlight swings your way. The rookie mistake is to rush in with your answer, thinking silence is going to draw massive negative attention. Take your time. Take a deep breath all the way down to your belly. Smile. Scan the room and get completely clear on your response before you deliver it. And of course, prevention is the best cure. Be a great listener. If you've drifted off into your own thoughts, you're going to be caught off guard, and then nothing can save you. Those who are deliberate with their answers in moments like this, whether it's in a boardroom, a panel, a podcast, they're the ones who come across with immense poise, professionalism, and influence. Don't rush. Own the pause. If any of these three scenarios sound familiar, well, I want you to know you're not alone. These things happen to the smartest, most capable people in the world. And second, communicating with influence is not a generic trait. It is a highly trainable skill. You can learn how to command a room. You can learn to be a voice people want to listen to. You can learn how to tie your facts to emotional transformations. And you can absolutely learn frameworks and storytelling techniques. With the right frameworks and confidence, you can think on your feet so that you never freeze during a Q&A or a spontaneous moment again. And this is exactly what I specialize in. If you'd like to go deeper on this, I am running a completely free masterclass that takes these exact concepts even deeper. If you're tired of watching less qualified people get the opportunities that you deserve, if you want to speak like a leader and lead like a visionary with communication as your most valued skill set, this masterclass will show you the communication blind spots that are holding you back and how to fix them. There's a link in the description down below. Just click that link, register for the session, and let's start getting your communication to match the actual level of your expertise. And if you found this video insightful and you'd like to know how we could work together to build your influence, go watch this video here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, so you don't miss any future episodes. See you soon.